Welcome, everyone. We're going to do some breath work, some meditation, some gentle movement today. And we'll get started in a really comfortable seat. So maybe you wiggle around and feel side to side, front to back until you are feeling really grounded. And then if your legs are crossed, as mine just were, maybe uncross them to feel your feet really stable on the ground. You can choose whether you like to have your knees open or your knees touching. And we'll just arrive in this space. There's always so much going on out there. It's nice to just center and come into ourselves, our bodies, and just ask ourselves, how do I feel today? And to label it without judging, because some days are great days and some days are not so great. And that's okay. It's all part of the human condition. It's all part of our experience, and it's all valid and it's all fine. So even if this is not a great day, we'll label it how we feel and do it without too much self-judgment, without too much self-criticism. And then if you like, you can close your eyes. If that's comfortable for you. If that's not comfortable, no big deal. Just lower your gaze, find a little point, a little drishti, a little speck of something that you can focus on so that we can start tuning out all the distractions in the outer world and start focusing on our inner world. Feeling the hips in the seat, feeling the feet on the floor, feeling the hands on the lap. Maybe you want palms up because you're looking to receive energy, or maybe you want palms down because you're looking for stability and grounding today, either one. And then we'll come to the breath, just noticing how the breath is today, whether it's fast or slow, whether you feel it more in the chest or whether you feel it more in the belly. Just acknowledging on the inhale, I am inhaling. And on the exhale, I am exhaling. Noticing the breath as it comes in and noticing the breath as it goes out. The breath is always with us, but often we do not bring it to the forefront. It's not something we often pay attention to. So I'll invite you to expand the breath and really breathe deeply into the lungs, feeling the intercostal muscles working, feeling the lungs expand on the inhale, and feeling the ribs come back together on the exhale, making these breaths slower, deeper, whatever feels good in your body. Maybe engaging the diaphragm, letting the belly rise on the inhale. Inhale, I am inhaling. And letting the belly sink on the exhale. Exhale, I am exhaling. And as you're paying attention to the breath, as you're inhaling, as you're exhaling, now might be a good time to set an intention for your practice. So how do you want to feel? What do you want to focus on? And create a phrase in the present tense. I am calm. I am relaxed. I am in the present moment. I am content. Whatever it is, call it, pull it, bring it in, put in the present moment, and then let it go. Let the universe conspire to help make it so we don't have to grip these things too tightly. We just do our best. We just settle into the present moment and we see what arises. I'll invite you to pause after your inhale just for a second or two, and then exhale slowly through the mouth. Pausing for a moment at the bottom and inhaling through the nose. Pausing at the top and exhaling through the mouth. And carrying on with this pattern. As always, if something I'm suggesting doesn't feel right in your body, just go back to observing the breath, however it is rising in you. You don't have to be doing exactly what I'm doing. You try it, it doesn't work for you. That's fine. You make that decision. You have autonomy over yourself. Inhale and pause. Long, slow exhale through the mouth. And a little pause at the bottom. And then at the end of your next round of breath, take your time. There's no rush. Let your breathing return to normal. We'll focus on any feelings that are arising, any sensations that are arising in the feet. What do the feet feel like right now? Again, not labeling it good or bad, just what sensations, or maybe no sensation at all. And then what sensations are arising in the lower leg between the ankle and the knee, on the left and the right. Really feel, what does it feel like to be you in your body with your legs today? So we're a different body every day. We have different feelings, different sensations every day. And then what does it feel in your body from the knees up to the hips? Is there any way, if you are holding tension or that there's stiffness or tightness, can you breathe into your thighs and your hamstrings? Can you relax that part of the body? And then how does it feel in your belly today? In your abdomen, around the sides of your body, in the lower back? How does that region feel? What sensations are coming up? Can you breathe into any spaces that are tight or constricted? Can you relax? And then bringing the attention to the chest and the ribs and the upper back. What sensations do you feel there? Can you feel your heartbeat? Can you feel your lungs expand? Is there any tightness? Can you breathe into it? What does it feel like? Your chest, your back in your body today. And thinking about your shoulders to your elbows, the upper arms on the left and the right. How do they feel? What is it like in your body today? Letting the shoulders relax, coming away from the ears. This is a place a lot of people hold tension. And then moving the attention to the lower arms, from the elbows to the wrists. What do your lower arms feel like? What sensations are there? Maybe there are no sensations at all. Maybe there's a sense of warmth or coldness. Maybe there's some numbness. And then what do your hands feel like today? Maybe you tighten them into fists and then relax them open. Maybe you touch the thumbs to each of your fingers. What do the palms and the backs of the hands feel like today? How is your neck and your ears moving into your head? How does your head feel today? Both physically, are there physical sensations? Is there any pressure or pain or feelings happening in your sinuses or in your head? But then also, what's going on emotionally for you today? How is it to be in your mind? Can you label these emotions without judgment? Emotions are like the tide. They come and they go, and we can either grip onto them very tightly, or we can take the role of the observer and we can identify, oh, this is the emotion of grief. This is the emotion of joy. This is the emotion of sadness. This is the emotion of happiness, or this is so funny, or this is so entertaining, or this is so difficult. And we can remove ourselves a little bit and not attach to whatever the emotions is. Let them come in like the thoughts, like clouds floating by. They're here temporarily, and we know they're going to change. I'll invite you to breathe up from the base of your spine to the tip of your head. And exhale from the tip of your head down to the base of the spine. Following your vertebrae up one by one as you inhale, and down one by one as you exhale. Again, lengthening the breath. The longer the exhales especially, the more calm we feel, the more the parasympathetic nervous system switches on, that rest and digest, the feelings of safety, of stability, where we can start repairing. Inhaling up the spine and exhaling down the spine. We'll end with some movement. So tucking the chin to your chest. If you like, you can blink open your eyes and slowly move into some seated cat-cows. So looking up into cow pose, pulling the collarbones through the shoulders, putting a little back bend in the spine. And exhaling into our cat pose, like a Halloween cat, arching the back. Maybe you press into the tops of the legs or hold on to the knees. And then moving with your breath as quickly or as slowly as feels good to you today, with movements as big or as small as your body wants. And checking the ego, because what's possible and what we can do isn't necessarily what's good for us in this moment, right now, right here today. And we'll do one more round of seated cat-cow. And we'll come to a nice tall seat and put a little movement into the shoulders in one direction, up and back and down, and the other direction, together and up and forward. And maybe mixing it up. Maybe you like to do one shoulder at a time. Maybe you want to hold the shoulders up by the ears and then let them fall down. Whatever feels good in your body. But this is a place where so many of us hold our stress and our tension. And move from the shoulders into the neck. So really nice and gently doing some head circles, nice and slow. It's okay if you hear pops and clicks, just not if you're feeling any pain. So again, the slower you move, the less likely you are to tweak something. So just be gentle with yourself. Once you've done a few in one direction, when it feels like, yeah, that's pretty good, then you can move in the other direction. Again, just being mindful of how does your neck feel today, and listening and paying attention to what your body needs rather than what the ego wants. Move into the wrists, putting some movement here, one direction and the other direction, or maybe we go both the same way. That can be a little bit tricky, but fun to try. Maybe we stretch out the fingers in both directions, stretch out the wrists. Maybe it feels good to do some figure eights, so interlocking the fingers and just moving the wrists around, especially if you're someone who does a lot of typing or writing by hand and get some cramps in the hands. This is a good one to just open the wrists up a little bit. Shake it out, shake it out. And put a little movement in the spine, doing some hip circles. And again, take your time. These can be really slow. They can be really small. Or if you're feeling like you have a lot of energy today, they can be bigger and faster. Think about how your balance is, how you're feeling, what feels good in your body, and go both directions. So if you haven't yet switched, see what it feels like to go the other way. And then we'll do the same with the hips, just moving. You might just move the knees in and out. You might lift the feet off the ground like a march, or you might hang on to the knee or underneath the thigh and move the hips in one direction and the other direction. Putting in a little bit of movement, seeing how your body feels today, and then switching to the other side and seeing how it feels. We are not nearly as symmetric as we think we are, or as we might believe we are, so don't worry if something feels easier or more challenging on one side or the other side. And then we'll move down to the ankles. Maybe you point and flex the feet if that feels good, or do some ankle circles with the toe on the ground or with the foot in the air on one side, going in one direction and the other direction, and on the other side. And for me, there's a really big difference between what my range of motion is on the right and the left. And that's where I have to check my ego and say, it's okay. I'm not symmetric, and that's all right. I'm just seeing and approaching it with some curiosity. How will my movement be today? And then finally, we'll come back to that intention, whatever you set in the beginning of our time together. Pull it back from the universe and see if you can make one tiny, tiny little goal for yourself. What can you do with the rest of the day? The smallest little thing to keep that feeling of I'm calm, or I'm content, or I'm in this present moment. Thanks for showing up. You did the hard work. Thanks for practicing with me today.